Welcome back, everyone, to the After the Scales presented by DJD Graphics. I'm Jacob Dove from Feed on Motorsports, along with Shaun Blight of Canadian Racing Tours, episode 62. And on today's episode, we have Chase RAUDMAN, the voice of High Limit, joining us. And later on, we'll have Danny SAMS, who's a High Limit Rookie of the Year contender this year. Chase, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me back on, guys. It's been, almost a year, I think, since I was on here last time. But, yeah, it's great to be back.
Yeah, so Shaun and I wanted to bring you on because in a couple weeks here, we're going to have Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the first stop on the High Limit season, kicking things off. It's just around the corner. Seems like it's been a long off season, but with all the silly season stuff going on, it's really kept us busy. A lot of content. You run the RAUDMAN Rundown. Had a good episode today talking about Tanner Thorson. How excited are you for Las Vegas?
Yeah, I mean, super excited. I mean, really just excited for the whole season to really get going. Vegas is obviously going to be interesting. There hasn't been a major sprint car race there in a long time, and we'll see how it goes. You know, we're going to have some guys coming in from California to try and take care of the track prep and things like that, because that has been an issue there before. But I think there's not been much of a better place you could really start the season out for us, with the branding of High Limit Racing. Just kind of makes sense to happen in Las Vegas to kick the season off. And, NASCAR is going to be there as well. So should be a really good crowd. Larson will be there. Corey Day is going to be there. Christopher Bell. And from what I've been told, there could be another special guest showing up to make his debut with High Limit. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. We got a really good field of cars as far as the full timers go this year. It's going to be, there's a lot of storylines to follow along with, obviously. So, yeah, looking forward to getting down there about 2 weeks from today, I think.
Yeah, it's I think we had John early last year. You were just a couple of months into the play-by-play thing, starting that off. We don't need to recap last year, but a lot of people maybe weren't sure what High Limit was going to be, and I think I can speak for Jacob, but a lot of great racing. Like I love what the series brought. I love what you and Tony brought from an entertainment and just a knowledge perspective, keeping the broadcast nice and fresh and entertaining. How would you summarize your first year on the job, and what'd you learn?
I learned a lot. I don't know if we'd be here for 3 hours if I tried to tell you everything that I learned, but I mean, there was a lot going on. I mean, the one main thing that I took away from it very early was the multitasking that is involved in trying to do the job that I do at this level of, the production and everything that goes into it. There's just a lot going on at the same time. So I was never a good multitasker, but I think after last year, I maybe, moved it up a couple notches there. So I don't know. I thought it was an okay season for me. It was, I was learning all year. Finally started to get into a rhythm maybe about halfway through the year, maybe, 15, 20 races in. This off season, I've been going to speech therapy and things like that, trying to get my vocal cords stronger, so to say, and strengthen them up so they can make it through a 3 nights in a row at schedule or whatever. I was kind of struggling with the longevity of my voice. So hopefully doing that will help it make it through those 3-day weeks during the 2025 season. But, yeah, I think we had a lot of fun on the broadcast last year, me and Tony. It was just basically us two making fun of each other the whole time, which people seem to enjoy that. And, we had some good – obviously had some really good racing. I mean, there was a stretch there for a while where it seemed like every race there was like some crazy storyline or somebody would win that you weren't expecting, or a good battle up front or whatever it was. So – the momentum that we had last year and the overall success of the series, I think really blew everybody's expectations out of the water. I mean, I'm not talking about just fans and drivers, but I'm talking like the series owners, Flow Racing. I think everybody was amazed by how well it went the first year overall for the entire series. So we'll try and replicate it, if not go better this year.
Yeah, I feel like that success that High Limit had this past year is going to roll over into this year. I had 16 full-time sprint car drivers last year, 14 this year. But if you look at the list, it's another stacked field. Young talent. We got good rookies coming in, seasoned veterans like Brad Sweet, Tyler Courtney, Rico Abreu, Brent Marks. Those guys are going to be up the top. But I think there's going to be a really good battle in between in the midfield. I know you do a good job on the RAUDMAN Rundown, kind of breaking down where you think everybody's going to finish at the end of the season. But going into the first race at Las Vegas, who's your kind of favorite, is Brad Sweet kind of up there as who you're looking at the picking, or is there kind of a dark horse that you might think go up there and maybe ruffle some feathers?
As far as the first race, or as far as the championship goes?
The first race at Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. Well, I think, I've been to Vegas, I think, twice before, and it was a long time ago. That last Outlaw race, I was there for that in 2019. But from what I remember, I feel like it's somewhat similar to Texas Motor Speedway as far as the layout, the banking, the size, all that stuff. So, and if it's anything like Texas, then yeah, you can expect Brad Sweet to obviously be pretty fast. He got a win down there last year. Brent Marks got a win last year. Those two guys are probably going to be good. The 69K, obviously with Christopher Bell, he's going to be running on Thursday night. And then I heard him announce on the Drivers Project podcast that he will not be racing on Saturday. Darren Pittman will drive the car, and we saw how good he was at Texas last year as well. So if you can take anything from Texas, I feel like the track's similar, and you take the guys that were successful there, it should transition, I would think, to Las Vegas pretty well. Another guy that I would like to throw in the mix there, he got 2 wins with Power Eye there last year, was Aaron Reitzel, who is an underrated addition to the field this year. I think he could certainly be a guy that could take down a win or two maybe at Las Vegas to open up the season.
And I did want to bring up the schedule here, and I'll just point out to our viewers, because up in the top left corner, we've got the QR code that you can scan, and that'll take you right to the High Limit website to purchase tickets for any upcoming races. I'll bring the schedule up here so you can have a look at it. That was a really cool promotion that you guys did. And I feel like as the season went on, probably more and more people took advantage of it, where you could enter into that dice roll. And as I bring up the schedule here, Chase, you got some new tracks you're going to this year. I know Ransomville being one of them. The All-Stars were there a couple of years ago. Parker Price Miller picked up a win. What are some of the tracks that you're kind of looking forward to, maybe you haven't been to, or it's been a while since you've been there?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot to look forward to. When it comes to the new stuff, the tracks that I'm excited to get to are the 2 in Wisconsin. Honestly, and what it was fun last year with High Limit was with that schedule, there was that portion where we went through Texas and Oklahoma and Arkansas, that area. Nobody really knew what to expect with any of those tracks. And I feel like that's almost the same with the Wisconsin swing there. Every one of those videos I've done on my YouTube channel, not a single driver has ever been there before. And it's 2 nights in a row. It's a midweek series race. So, Kyle Larson's probably going to be there as well, and he's never been to those 2 tracks. So a lot of surprises maybe going to be going on from June 3rd to June 4th there on a Tuesday and Wednesday back-to-back midweek shows. So looking forward to seeing the fans are going to be coming out in droves for that, I would have to think, because they were pretty upset that, High Limit did not get to Wisconsin last year. So looking forward to those 2. And then right there at the beginning of the year, Kern Raceway was just, changed from Bakersfield Speedway, now moved over to Kern across town. It's the same town of Bakersfield, California. I actually used to live there, but Kern, they just did a big change to the track there. They actually widened out the turn 1 entrance, and they put up a whole catch fence, and they've done a bunch of improvements to that track. And I saw a NARC race there a couple of years ago, and it was really, really good. So looking forward to Kern. I haven't been to Paris since like the 2018 Oval Nationals. Paris is a great spot to go watch a race at. And then, moving on down the line there's obviously some tracks coming back that you got to be excited about, like Eagle. And it's great to see like Fremont be on the schedule. We know how much of a staple that is in Ohio. And then Skagit was super good racing all of last year. I'm looking forward to that 3-day event as well. So there's a really good mix of tracks. So what I like about the High Limit schedule is it's not dominated by half-mile tracks. We've got, I think 6 races at Port Royal, 4 at Eldora, and then you got the big one at Utica Rome there as far as the size of the track as well. So it's not like the schedule is dominated by big tracks. It's a good mix of 3/8, third miles, quarter miles. And so it really keeps you on your toes each and every weekend with the series. You don't know what to expect, which was one of the headlines last year. You really did not know what was coming next from the series. So hopefully we can see a little bit more action like that. And obviously you got to throw in Butler Motor Speedway last year. The fans voted that as the best race of the year last year. And, the people around there, man, they are crazy for sprint car racing. So there's probably too many to point out. The Arizona weekend as well. First time 410s have been back to Arizona in forever. So hopefully the fans come out and support that one too.
Yeah, I've never been to sorry, Jacob, I'll just jump in here for a second. I've never been to Butler. I've got that race on my calendar this year, so I'm really excited to get up into the treehouse there at Butler and check.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if they just let anybody go up in the treehouse or what. If you have to be named Tony Laporta, I'm not sure. But yeah, that was a super unique vantage point. That was the first time I've ever seen a treehouse at a racetrack. So, but hopefully we could find some more interesting things at these new tracks that we're going to.
Yeah, and apparently you can fit like 40 people in that treehouse. So I think if you can bring a case of beer or something, I'm sure they'll let it up. So.
Yeah, I don't know how that thing didn't collapse with 40 people up there. It was crazy.
Another track on that high limit schedule that caught my attention was Texarkana 67 Speedway in Arkansas. If anybody's been paying attention to news lately that Arkansas is in jeopardy of losing racing as a whole, it's never good to hear that, you know, states are going to be passing bills or trying to pass bills that are going to take away racing. So Chase, I'm curious, you know, it's really important for race fans to bring new people to sport, pack the stands, talk about, you know, how important it is. You know, I try to bring a new person to the racetrack every time I go and, you know, invite the buddies, try to get people to buy tickets, buy merch. Just talk about how important that is.
Oh, I mean, it's huge. I mean, I think that in the coming years, if we continue at this trajectory that we're doing right now with all the sprint car, I'm not talking about just high limit, but the Outlaws and everybody. I mean, right now it's a great time to be a fan. And I think that, you know, with you guys bringing your friends out or maybe bring somebody new out to the race and say, hey, man, check this out. Like if they're a NASCAR fan or something, right? So they have a general idea of what racing is. But you bring them to a sprint car race, man, they've probably never seen anything like it, right? So if we can continue to do that and continue with the popularity of the sport, it's growing. I feel like every single year that goes by, and it's only going to help with, you know, Bell coming back, Corey Day making his way onto the pavement stuff and coming back and racing quite a few races as well. It's just going to draw more eyes and more attention to this sport, and hopefully in turn brings more people to the racetrack for the first time. And then after that, I feel like you can't go to a sprint car race, you know, and not be hooked immediately by just seeing the raw power that these cars have, and obviously the incredible on-track action that it provides as well. So, yeah, I don't know all the details with Texarkana and what's going on down there. I know it was on our schedule last year, but it got rained out, so hopefully that doesn't have any effect on it. Hopefully we can get a good show in there, just jam-pack the stands so the state realizes, hey, you know, maybe we should have a Texarkana Nationals here, seven day show, and just pack the place and screw this bill or whatever that going on there. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I keep seeing posts from Tim Crawley that they're, you know, still going full steam ahead for the race. So I'm just hoping that we're able to get in there, because I watched that USAC race there from 2 years ago and it was super good. So really interesting layout. There's a wall only in turns 1 and 2 and no wall in 3 and 4. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully everything, you know, goes well in Arkansas. That would be quite the bill to eliminate racing in an entire state. I just can't see that actually happening, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Turning back more towards the series, Chase, I kind of reached out to you last week and said if you had any bold predictions this year, because we we had a live Christmas episode. So this was after Charlotte, but before anything that happened in January. And I said my bold prediction for 2025 was that Justin Peck finishes ahead of Tyler Courtney in the high limit point standings.
Wow.
Yeah. I went bold. I went there. What storylines are maybe you looking at, and anyone that can maybe jump out and surprise some people?
Yeah, the one for me, I keep talking about him just because I think people are just underrating him so hard. I think Reitzel is going to have a really good year. I think he wins at least 6 races. I really do. He's a different guy right now, man. Like, he's excited. He's, you know, taking part in interviews, which a couple of years ago when I was on the Outlaw Tour, like, he was not an interview guy. He just seems super thrilled to be a part of High Limit this year. And he's in a really good mindset right now. So I have a feeling that Reitzel is going to be a guy that jumps out there and wins 6, 7, 8 races maybe, and maybe contends for top 3 in points. I think on my YouTube channel I had him from 4th to 5th, but I would not be shocked at all. I mean, the guy has shown incredible consistency in his career when he followed the series before. So Reitzel's a guy that I think is a really big storyline. Another one I think, and this one might be pretty far-fetched, I think, but I think this could be the year that Casey Kane finally gets a national win as a driver. Obviously, he's accomplished everything as a car owner, championships, so many wins, Knoxville Nationals, Kings Royal, all that stuff. But there's still that one box that needs to be checked for his career, I think, before he can really, call it a career, and that's just get a win with the National Sprint Car Series. He's got Brad's crew chief from the last 6 years being a championship team, and I think that having Eric Prutzman there every single race, I mean, at the end of last year, they went to World Finals and ran top 5 there at Charlotte, and that's a super tough field. So if they can keep that speed up, I don't see any reason why Kasey Kahne cannot win one race this year. I know it's bold because he's been trying for 20-something years to do it, but I think this could be his time. So, and then I was talking to Brian Walker the other day, and he said his bold prediction was he thinks that the rookies will combine for 5 wins. Ooh. I said that seems a little out there. He might be from a different planet with that one, but I mean, that would be crazy if 4 rookies had 5 wins at the end of the year. But I'm not buying into that one. I'm going to stay away from that one.
I like that Kasey Kahne one. I was actually going to bring that up because Jacob and I were both at World Finals, and he was hauling the mail, and it was really cool to see. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that he would get a win this year. So that's cool you brought that up. Jacob, go ahead.
Yeah, and I actually had 5 drivers on the high limit full season tour that I written down that wanted to see, Chase, who you thought was going to get their first ever high limit win this year. Spencer Bayston, Danny Sam, Cy Lynch, Chase Randall, or Dason Pursley. Who do you think is going to get their first win with high limit first?
Man, that's tough. That's a great question. I mean, hopefully all of them would get a win. That would be pretty cool for the series. But, I mean, I feel like it's hard to not take Spencer Bayston, right? I mean, he was on the tour last year. He ran the Outlaws twice. He's getting in a car that won 8 or 9, 10 races last year. New situation, obviously, new type of chassis for Spencer. He's never driven before. So I don't know. I think that the easy pick there is Spencer, just because of the experience level that he has compared to those other drivers that you mentioned there. But I mean, I think if you took him out of the equation, I think the guy that would win is first out of them is the guy that I'm picking for Rookie of the Year, and that's Chase Randall, excuse me. I mean, he was close to getting a win with the Outlaws and high limit last year, ran 3rd after leading a bunch of laps at I-70, and then ran 2nd against the Outlaws after leading 25 laps at Houston. So with Randall, he's got a home now. He's not bouncing around from ride to ride. He's in a solid car. So that car, people forget, man, he almost won the Tuscarora 50 in that car a couple of years ago. So I think that Chase Randall, out of those 5, I'm going to go with Spencer, but you take him out of the equation, Chase Randall will be my pick.
All right, so we normally end with our rapid fire segment, but you've already done that with us. So we wanted to do something different, and since we're talking high limit, I've got 3 over-unders for you. I picked 3 drivers. I randomly, I thought about it. I set the win totals. So we'll start with Aaron Reitzel because you already mentioned him. I set his over-under at 6.5.
Ooh, I said somewhere between 6 and 8 wins, so that's tough. I mean, if I had to bet on it, which I do like to partake, but if I had to bet on it, man, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched my YouTube video the other day, but he has the most wins out of anybody on the schedule. Like the schedule this year, he's got the most wins out of everybody. And I think with his attitude he's got going on, I'm going to go overs. I'm going overs. Okay. Aaron Reitzel overs, and if that's the case, I feel like he's going to be top 3 in points if that's the case. But I'll take the overs on that one.
All right. A guy I'm high on this year is Justin Peck, as I mentioned. Really fast at Charlotte. Got a couple 360 wins already this year. That team looks rejuvenated. The driver looks rejuvenated. Over under 3.5 wins.
Oh, overs for sure. Yeah, I would hammer that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Hammer the overs on that one.
All right. And the last one, a guy I'm really interested in this year is Brent Marks. He had 5 wins last year, but I think he only had 1 after May. So 5 wins last year, 6 the year before, and then he had that wild year in 2022. Where's he at? And I'll get the over-under. I set it at 6.5 because I think he's going to bounce back from the last couple of years. He's not going to duplicate 18 in 2022, but where are you at with Brent Marks? 6.5.
That's tough. He struggled really hard last year in California, that whole West Coast swing. I mean, he wasn't even sniffing the podium really, but and we go to the West Coast twice, so I think I'm going to take the unders on that one. And you said 6.5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he'd get 5. I think that would be a pretty good year for him, especially if he wins like 150,000 win race like he did at the end of last season. But, you know, we can always expect to see him in contention at the big tracks, Port Royal, Eldora. You know, obviously he got that win at Texas. I think Lakeside's another place he could be good at. But 6.5 seems a little high. Usually I'm a guy that loves the overs on everything. But I'm going to take the unders on Brent there, 6.5.
Yeah. So I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I see he had 5 and then 6. So I was like, oh, let's. If you're banking on him having maybe a bit of a bounce back year, I thought that would be an interesting place to set it. So.
And speaking of gambling, Chase, how hard is it going to be for yourself starting here at Las Vegas? You know, how hard is it going to be able to not go wander off and maybe do some stuff?
Oh, it's going to happen. You might not. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm probably not going to do it till 4 a.m. or anything like that, but so Brad actually wants us all to get there on Monday, which is not good for the wallet. You know, we're going to have like a team dinner and stuff, and we got to go to the track and set up all of our signage and everything. So he's like, we had a meeting like 2 weeks ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago. He's like, all right, I want everybody to get there on Monday. And I'm like, my poor wallet just bit me in the ass, man, when I heard that. So we're going to have to probably roll the bottom for a few nights to make it the whole week, but we're definitely going to be going out. The craps tables are going to be calling my name. So,
all right, we love it. And we're looking forward to the high limit season. We're going to bring on Danny SAMS right after this.
After the Scales is proudly presented by DJD Graphics. From commercial and personal vehicles to racing bikes and cars of all makes, models, and disciplines, DJD Graphics can fully customize your vehicle to suit your needs. For more information, contact Darren and visit his website at www.djdgraphics.com. Tell him Shaun and Jacob sent you to receive special rates.
All right, joining us now is Danny SAMS, driver number 24D here, high limit to contender out of Northport, Florida. Danny, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, happy to be here. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks or maybe a month now since we hung out with you out in Tampa. Good time, but now it's time to get focused. High limit season's right around the corner. We got Chase here. He's going to be announcing you this year. Just talk about how excited you and pumped you are for Vegas.
Super excited. We're getting ready for Bike Week this weekend. I don't know if everyone knows we're running that or not, but we're going to run Bike Week here Sunday, Monday. We're actually at someone's shop right now getting some things done that we think, you know, will make us go a little bit faster. As Chase has been did a couple YouTube videos on me, says I have reverse lights, so I have to try to take the reverse lights off. Like he said, as you can see, there's a car in the shop, and then there's a car out here. We're getting the reverse lights taken off this thing.
That's yeah, that's good to hear, buddy. You got the backup beepers taken off the car. But, hey, we're excited to have you on High Limit this year, man. I've been talking to you last year a ton when you showed up to a couple of our races. So looking forward to it. I hear you got these guys have been telling me you got a new paint scheme coming out. I heard you got some huge corporate sponsor coming on board, like Walmart or something. I can't remember the exact sponsor, but yeah, that's what they're telling me. But man, it's going to be fun. You sent me your playlist the other day, and it might be one of my favorites that we've seen so far.
Ooh. I felt like it was a little. I think it fits the crowd, you know. I told you I was working on it. I didn't at all, and then he texted me again. I was like, I told him I'd do it before the month, and that's what I came up with. 16 songs, whatever the time you text me, is that what it was. I just went through my playlist and I was like, this one, this one, this one.
That's it.
So it suits me, you know. That's all you can do. Try to be yourself. I'm getting attacked by like mosquitoes out here. I'm gonna walk a little bit. But yeah, I'm super pumped up. I feel like Volusia was a really good start for us. I don't think any of us or anyone expected us to be that competitive. So now we got to build on that. The pressure's like more on now, I feel like, because we're here. Like, you know, we did that good. Now that's the expectation every time. So trying to keep working at it. I'm trying to be the best me I can be. Like I said, we have a crew guy. And yeah, we have some super exciting stuff to announce at Vegas. We'll be unveiling a brand new car, brand new wrap, a new sponsor that is kind of going to shock the world. It's someone that's been involved in sprint car racing for a long time, and he's starting a new venture, and that's all I can say. But when it's let known, it's going to be.
That does not sound like Walmart to me at all.
No, it is. It is not Walmart. It is nothing. It is
So
not a store. Let's go with that. That'll be your
So
hint.
Jacob and I got a little sneak peek. So we're it's been tough, but we've kept the lips shut. But the car looks amazing, and people are really going to be like, "Oh my God, who's that guy? Who's the new
Exactly.
the new 24?"
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Bring good attention. Trying to. I think it's going to be healthy for the sport. It's everyone knows how tough racing is, and I think this is something that'll actually involve more than just my team later in the race. Definitely this year is going to be kind of our deal, but hopefully it grows to something bigger. So I think it's going to be good things. I think nothing but good things from it, and it's given me this opportunity to be on a national tour. So really cool. Blessed.
As long as you keep the chrome headers, man, that's all the people want.
I know the chrome headers. Everyone likes them. Everyone likes them.
And you, Volusia, Danny, building run that you. I'll get to see you there in person on Sunday. What are your expectations? Obviously, the full high. Well, I'm not going to be petty and not say World of Outlaws on the podcast, but I'll go ahead. But the Woo are racing at Volusia. What's your expectations for that? Building off of that.
Well, our expectations qualify, unfortunately, now is the top 5, which is what we did almost every night. So if we can keep that up, there's definitely going to be less cars, but I feel like there'll still be a B main, if I could take a guess. We're just there to race, but I'd say now the bar set so high, I try to make dashes both nights. We want to make the feature both nights, but if we can make dashes both nights, it puts us in a better position. And like Chase said, I've had backup lights, but my backup lights weren't as bright last at Volusia. Yeah, I went backwards, but not that far.
When you went backwards, you got a picture in between the 57 and the 69K, so it was worth it.
Oh yeah, well I ran half the race without turning them on.
Yeah.
And then I got too close, and I didn't want to dirty slide Larson. It was my first time racing against these guys, and then I got myself in trouble. And then I was in 10th in like 2 laps. It was pretty unreal. So if I just continuously not fall back as much, that definitely has always been our issue. And I think a lot of it is to do with me, but we're trying to do things to get me more comfortable throughout the feature, because I have no problem getting to 20 laps in. It's those last 5 laps I seem to fall apart. And it's not a getting tired or anything like that. It's not using my wing, not knowing where to be on the track. It's an experience thing, and I'm not afraid to admit it. So it's good to know that I'm holding the car back. The car's not holding me back. I feel like the car is capable of it, and there's a couple things we're working on to make me a little bit more comfortable at it, but I'm not upset about it. I'm not afraid to tell you hey, I need to fix this. I'm cool position to even be in to have to fix it. So a lot of people struggle. That's becoming our strong suit. So if we can just keep getting to the end, and that gives us, every time I'm up there, I do better, and build my notebook, my mental notebook, and what I need to be doing on the track. So I felt like every night we were consistent, and the second night, I think I fell all the way back to 20th, and I got my bearings back about me and drove past 5 cars within the last restart. Just things like that. I don't need to be in those positions, because when I'm clean and green, I can hold on to my own. Just making poor decisions, and like Chase says, I'm probably a little too nice. I like to protect my equipment if I can. And we're at that level now where you just got to race. You still have to be smart, but you have to take that next step and go for it a couple times. And that's probably what gets me held back. I try to hold my own line for too long and just let cars go by me and try to figure out my own problem, when I should be covering them off and sliding them back and racing harder. So I think you'll see me pick up the wick some more. I got the okay from the car owner. He's like, we had a chance to win somehow. He's like, you went from a 1% chance to winning to maybe a 10% chance. So now I'm trying to crank up the wick, and everyone here deserves to do good, and I feel like we did really well. And it's almost overlooked because we didn't run worse than 15th and ran the best of 10th. That's pretty solid considering the field of cars that was at Volusia. So try to continue that. I think we can qualify even a little bit better. There's things that we're fixing to even go a little bit faster, we think. And everything we're doing small changes because we're close enough. We're running with the best in the world. And now the competition will be, I'd say this will be more comparable to what I race against all year long. The first weekend was all the best cars. Now we're a little bit more like half the best cars. So I feel like we'll have a better idea of how we truly stack up, because a guy that's having a bad night at the first weekend of Volusia, it's a bad night easy. You can kind of come back from it if there's only in the 20s of cars. So we'll see kind of how we stack up a little bit more. But I'm excited. It's just really cool. And hopefully, you know, the goal is not to tear nothing up and we can just go from here to Vegas. But if not, we'll be going up to Indiana, restocking, a lot more work. But we know we need to be racing. That's what's going to make me better. So it's going to make our team better. So if we just keep that up, I think we'll be just fine.
Well, Danny, there's a lot of people out there that wish they had the beginning part of the night down because it sets up the end way better. So you got that figured out. Just got to, like you said, put it all together. So I know a guy like Tanner Thorson. I made a video about him today. He wishes he could qualify as good as you guys do. That's for sure. But I did want to ask you, you know, you're going to race Volusia again here for 2 nights. You ran for 38 nights there not too long ago. How much do you think that racing at Volusia is going to help you when we get to Tulare on Wednesday, March 19th? Similar tracks, very similar.
Yeah, you know, I think we'll run the same gear.
Yeah.
About same stagger, the whole deal. No, we have a plan. That car there, that's our Tulare car. That's what we'll be switching to after. We have a plan. That's all I could say. And, yeah, we've been good on big tracks, but I sucked at big tracks. Like, just until, like, the 4 Crown of last year, I was, like, remotely okay at them. So I've always felt like short tracks are, like, my wheelhouse. I'm ready to get up on the wheel and go for it. And that's where I don't have an issue making those moves. So maybe where you see my timidness is not knowing how to drive with the air yet. And that's what got me in trouble with Kyle. I got too close to him, got in his dirty air, about put it in the fence. Then I'm all freaked out because I'm just getting freight trained, you know, Christopher Bell, David Gravel, Carson Macedo. And it's like, cheese and rice, guys. Like, give me a second. I messed up one straightaway here, and I'm going to the back. So, and then not knowing the next move. And I was like, oh, I covered off Brad. The dude goes right through the center, right past me, sucks the stickers off my car. I'm looking at the track. It's black and shiny there, and I'm up in the stuff, and the guy just drives right on past you. So going to have to figure all that type of stuff out. But I'm more confident on the little tracks. I feel like that's my style, get up on the wheel. I feel like I'll qualify even better at tracks like that. And then I race better on tracks like that because of the air thing. You know, I think the air thing's tougher than people realize. And, yeah, it's easy. They say it's easy to qualify and whatnot, but when I went quick time at the Outlaws, I about crashed. Like, if you rewatch the video, I about put it in the front stretch, but I'm trying to let the car open up as much as you can. And you can watch on my in-car, I'm cranking the wheel left, not lifting, you know, because I want to, but I got quick time. So, like, even a big track, you're wheeling more than you think you are, but I think my big track's actually going to help me with the short track stuff because it slows it down for me. That's a big track feels way faster to me than it does a small track.
I've got one more for you, Danny. Now, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus here, but none of the experts seem to be picking you for to have a chance at Rookie of the Year here with High Limit. You pay attention to any of that stuff?
No, people tell me, but whatever. I'm gonna go out and do what I can do, you know. And I feel like I do believe that's gonna change, and that's what you want, right? I prefer to be the underdog and have like almost no expectation and whoop them. Is that gonna happen? Probably not. It's probably gonna be pretty good, but it'd be really cool to win the Rookie of the Year because I was probably the lowest rated. But after Volusia, I think that changed a little bit. But at the same time, like, we're just going to do what we can do. We're going to have a good time doing it. We started a YouTube channel. We have a cool crew guy now. He's my age, so not just me hanging out with my parents. I got someone my age to kind of do my, you know, have fun and enjoy life. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. Like, I have way more confidence, especially after Volusia, that we're going to be fine. We make some dashes, and I wouldn't go against saying we could win one. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But I'm going to try, and there's a chance it will happen. So, you know, like those Ohio Speedway races, they were tough, but they weren't high limit tough. But we've also raced a lot since then. So if we can just continue to build, work on our package, our motors run really good. Dad does a great job tuning them. You know, I do a lot of work on them myself too, and we just keep working on that and getting me comfortable. The race cars are almost slowing down to me now. So there's nothing saying I do qualify good. I make the dash, and I finally pull something better than a 4 or whatever. I guess we're spinning the wheel this year. And I start up on the pole. Thing goes green checkered. I'm just dirty airing everyone behind me. I win the thing. Is it kind of luck? Probably. It's probably gonna. It takes luck to win races. So there's nothing saying that it can't happen. But there's you know, we do. Our goal is to win one. We don't know how, but we're gonna keep working until we figure it out.
Yeah, Danny, I feel like people are really taking notice of you now. You know, like you said, you were racing against Larson, Bell, Mosquito, Gravel. They're gonna have to, you know, some respect because, you know, a guy like Gravel has even took you aside and has really helped you with pointers. You know, you talked about even Christopher Bell getting back while you're at Volusia. Talk about, you know, how everything's going, and, you know, you mentioned your parents and your new crew guy, how everyone's going together ready for your program to grow.
So Ben's our new crew guy. He flew in what did we race Wednesday? We raced Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, we raced Wednesday. He flew in Tuesday, and then that's when we started right away Wednesday. So, but it's been absolutely perfect. Like, everyone's fitting together good. We knew him well, and this is the first time Dad's been the boss of anyone because he doesn't tell my mom what to do. You know, she does her own thing and she gets plenty done. But he's been like my dad's like right hand man. Like, hey, let's do this, let's do that, because Dad is the crew chief, and we meshed right away. It's perfect, and that's the thing. Being a small team, we didn't have the time to build that chemistry or anything like that, and it's expensive for us to even do it. You know, we haven't gotten paid up until this point, so we went from, and now we have a merchandise section. We went from 3 of us, and it was just my mom, Dad, and me, and then now there's 2 more people involved, and that's going to take a lot of adjusting to get used to, but I feel like we'll be just fine. We're meshing really well, and like you said, Christopher did a lot to help us, and David Gravel's been a huge influence. There's been Jacob Allen, been a lot of guys that have helped me get to this point. Just ideas of what I need to be doing and where they think I need to be going. They know like my situation and stuff. So it's cool to even have people to help you, because no one needs to help you, but they want to help you and they see it helping the sport later on. So it's really cool.
All right. Well, we appreciate both of your time, Chase, Danny. Thanks a lot again for doing this. Best of luck to both of you guys in 2025. Can't wait to see you guys at the track. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.